What's up, guys? I wanted to talk about the FTC Bethesda leak. So this is a legitimate leak that's been leaked from when Microsoft had to submit Bethesda or ZeniMax's timeline for releases to the FTC in order to, prove that they're not, becoming an a trust or whatever. So the hot ticket item for me is the Oblivion remaster. And there's a few things I want to go talk about with the Oblivion remaster first. Number one, when we're talking about a remaster, what are we talking about? Are we talking about a remake or just a better engine, better textures, things like that? Now, the reason I asked that is because in a couple of years, a mod team, I forget the name of their mod team, but they're making a mod called Sky Oblivion, which is Oblivion based on Skyrim engine, Skyrim assets, and Skyrim gameplay. So, I mean, it's gonna be tweaked a little bit to be more like Oblivion, but it's basically Skyrim with Oblivion. So, what's interesting to me is that the game that the mod is making it's Oblivion, but it's the literal game Oblivion, all the stuff in Oblivion, quests, NPCs, locations, pathing, combat, like some combat mechanic, but they're basically overlaying Skyrim on top of it. And it's so much close to the original game that they actually need Bethesda to sign off on the quality before they release it. Not only that, you need to own Oblivion to even download the mod. And install it. So it's weird that Bethesda at the same time is making their own. They have every right to put in a cease and desist to that mod. But they're not going to because they can't, because they don't want to piss off the mod community. Todd knows better than that. So, and also they might actually sell some Oblivion copies from this, right? But the fact is they're probably going to charge more for the Oblivion remaster. So I wonder, what's going to happen? Has this ever happened before where a game company is going to be competing with the community for who can remake an older game better? I don't know if that's ever happened. I can't think of a time when that's happened. If you can, put it in the comments. I can't. I don't know. That's crazy to me. That is absolutely crazy. But that's the one I'm most excited about. Oblivion has a huge spot in my heart. I grew up with Bethesda games. I played the first one was Morrowind. I didn't know shit what I was doing in that game. So Oblivion was the first one where I kind of made it through the game as you should. I did. I think I pretty much 100% of that game. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I did a lot. And something about that game, it came out with the Havoc physics, which was the cool thing back then. You had the Source engine, you had Max Payne 2 had the ragdoll physics. So it was kind of it was interesting. You're shooting a guy with an arrow and his body flies back. It was whoa, physics. Just added that level of immersion to me. I also didn't really. It was such an upgrade from Morrowind, where you go up to a guy with your sword, just you're hitting them 1 out of every 10 swipes and stuff. And I know RPG fans, they get a kick out of that. They love that, and that's cool. I understand, from an RPG, a real in-depth RPG standpoint, that is that's cool. That's great. That's what you want, right? But for an immersion point of view, am I role playing me in that world? Do I feel like I'm there? Oblivion did a much better job at that. The graphics, I thought, for a Bethesda game were the best on release of any game they've done. They were better graphics on release than Skyrim. They were better graphics on release than Fallout 4. They were better graphics on release than Starfield compared to other games. I don't know if you remember this game called Two Worlds. It was released around the same time as Oblivion. And it's night and day. I mean, you can still play Oblivion today and not your eyes aren't going to melt. You play Two Worlds, man, it looks like you're playing, oh my God. Whew. Bad. So yeah, I mean, it looked good, and it was, you have to take into consideration it was an open world game, right? So they would have to kind of, adjust for that. If it was like a linear, straightforward game, you can kind of dress it up a lot more. But they did a great job on Oblivion, I thought, when it released in 2006. Okay, that was a long time ago. And yeah, it always just had a special place in my heart. So I'm really looking forward to that. The next couple of games are Fallout 3 Remaster, which is huge, right? Like, Fallout 3 is the GOAT Fallout. I mean, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, those are kind of tied in my mind. I know a lot of people like New Vegas more. I can see why. I think the writing was a little better in New Vegas. But for me, they're about the same. And the reason why I think Fallout 3 is so good and better than 4 is because I just think that like, when you go into that Fallout universe, it feels more like, to me, it feels more apocalyptic-y. I don't know, more like an apocalypse. Like, I feel like it feels more hopeless to me. And I hope that the new television show kind of more goes on that tangent versus Fallout 4's kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what to call Fallout 4. It was great. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. But I loved it more because I thought it just refined the experience of actually playing it. Like, I just felt like guns felt a little bit better. I felt like melee felt a little bit better. I felt that in a lot of ways it looked a lot better, right? It just visually looked better. But the atmosphere of Fallout 3 and the writing in Fallout 3 and New Vegas and that kind of era of Fallout is just I think it's a little bit better. And so I think a Fallout 3 remaster if that comes out around the same time or like shortly after I'm going to be playing the Oblivion one for probably a couple of years. I mean, I still play Skyrim sometimes. So if I play the Oblivion one for a while, plus I'm going to have Sky Oblivion too. I don't know which one I'm going to do, but then after that, I'm going to get Fallout 3. Are you kidding me, dude? That is gold. That is golden. And then I'm going to be set for a while. So very cool news. What else they got here? They got a new Doom, which I'm all set. I'm good. I'll take that. I liked Doom 16 and Doom Eternal. The only thing is they're not my favorite Dooms. And you're like, oh, well, which one's your favorite? The original? No. Doom 3. Doom 3. It was the scariest one. It was the most... They do a good job with their demon designs, putting them in an atmosphere where they're jump scaring you and like fighting, more than one or two at a time is like a big deal. That was so cool to me, man. That was so cool. Being a badass Doom guy and feeling like you can kill millions of monsters is fun, but there's something about being, if you know me, feeling like you're not necessarily well equipped to handle the situation. Putting you in like a survival situation is just so much more cool and just so much more scary. I actually played it a couple years ago on the Oculus with a VR mod, and let me tell you, man, those jump scares in VR, holy smokes, man! They brought me back to when I was a little kid playing Doom 3 with my headphones on my Xbox. Man, scary stuff, but pretty cool. The other big one was Dishonored 3. Dishonored 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. Period. The only stealth game I've ever liked. I do not like stealth games. I do not like Splinter Cell. I kind of like Hitman, but not because it's a stealth game. They do stealth differently. It's a weirder type of stealth. It's not like... There's something about Hitman that's just different. I don't know. You're disguising. You're always doing something. you're not, Splinter Cell is too much like, okay, I'm gonna wait for this guy to cross. All right, he crossed. Now I gotta go over to this bush. Oh crap, there's another guy. I gotta wait for him to turn around. I hate those kind of games. But for whatever reason, I love Dishonored. And I think it was just because they gave you multiple ways to approach things. They it had a lot of like, you know, it kind of had that Bethesda feel to it. It kind of felt like I was playing like a Dark Brotherhood quest line in Skyrim. I don't know. That's kind of what it felt like to me. I was like, you know, you're picking up, you know, books and reading them, and it's giving you lore dumps, and you're listening to conversations of guys through like the, you know, through the windows or through like locked doors or something. You're looking through people. Wicked cool. I loved it. Dishonored 2 I didn't like as much, and I'm not sure why. It kind of felt like an over-the-top version of Dishonored 1. Like, they kind of just like made it like this grand huge thing. It reminds me of what BioShock did, from BioShock original to like BioShock Infinite. It was like, let's take this like, you know, this kind of seedy, you know, vibe of just being trapped in this place, and let's launch it up to the sky, make it this grand thing, make it this huge America, you know, alternate dimension type thing. It's like, I don't know, you know. And for me, I'm the kind of person that when I'm talking about a multiplayer game, I can tell you exactly what I like and what I don't like. But when I'm talking about a single player game, I cannot tell you why I like it all the time or why I don't. Like, it's a feeling, and I can't really put words to it, you know. Other than that, there's an Indiana Jones game coming out. I mean, let's look. I mean, we can look here. Let's look at the schedule here. You can barely read this, but the Indiana Jones game is supposed to come out in 2022. Clearly, that's going to be pushed back a few years. I mean, we're probably looking at 2025. The Oblivion Remaster is supposed to come out in 2022, but that's going to obviously be pushed back. If Starfield's coming out in 2021, that's going to be obviously pushed back at least 2 years to 2024, but I don't even think that. It's probably going to be at least 2025. And then, what else we got? The Doom is coming out in 2023. That's probably going to be, that might be 2024. That's id, so that's a different studio. It's not Bethesda Game Studios making that one. So it has nothing to do with Starfield's launch, only has to do with Doom Eternal. We got Elder Scrolls 6 coming out. This is the thing that really surprised me. They put Elder Scrolls 6 on here on 2024. Now they're submitting this document to the FTC. They're not really inclined to toot their own horn here. So I can't understand why they would put Elder Scrolls 6 so early, make it seem like they got all this great stuff coming out, when they're trying to convince FTC that at Microsoft, you know, should buy them. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, we're amazing. We're doing great. If Microsoft buys us, it's game over. Like, they're not trying to make that message to the FTC. So I don't know why they would put Elder Scrolls 6. Arguably Elder Scrolls 6 will be one of the biggest launches of any game ever. Mark my words, ever. Ever. More than a Zelda. More than a GTA. More than GTA 6. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Maybe not more. Maybe like equal to GTA 6. It's going to be pretty close. Then that's when the Fallout Remaster comes. So the Fallout Remaster is coming out later than the Oblivion one. And Dishonored 3 is coming. So these are all kind of like futuristic games. Now Dishonored 3 is interesting because we're coming off the heels of Redfall with Arcane. I'm optimistic. I am. I think when a studio releases such a bomb like Arcane, like Redfall did, like Arcane did with Redfall, or like CD Projekt did with Cyberpunk. I mean, look at the Cyberpunk expansion. Like, look at the quality. They know they can't mess up again. Like, they can't. Like, and when you know that, it's like something happens. You know what I mean? Like, the dynamics change inside the business. Like, you have that mentality, can't fail, like all the time. You don't have that like, well, let's try this thing, or let's do that, or let's take risks. Like, you don't have that. You do what you know you can do, and you do it well, and you don't, you know, limit. You don't have scope creep, and you don't have like you go in with a vision before you go in with an explicit vision, and you stick to that vision, and you just make the game. And I think that Arcane's going to do that with Dishonored 3. I honestly think they will. I think they know. I think that they can tell what they messed up on in Redfall. I think they know exactly what they did wrong, and I don't think they're going to do it again. I don't really know of too many studios who can come back, who have decided to make another game after a gigantic bomb, and make another bomb. Like I've just never seen it personally. I mean, it probably has happened. I just don't know one that I'm thinking of offhand. I can't think of any. So yeah, that's about all I want to talk about. Crazy shit, man. Crazy stuff. We'll be eating good for a little while if this stuff starts coming out in like 2025. I'll be a happy camper. So that's all I want to talk about today, guys. Peace.